2022 started very, very bleak, right? The belief that the Russians could take Kyiv in 3 days. And then, right, just ended up wowing the world with, Ukraine's resilience and their ability to do so much with very little. And then once Western aid started to arrive, do a lot with a lot. And then in 2023, right, the picture becomes a lot murkier, right, and a lot grayer. So the Russians try to conduct their first offensive again after two really successful Ukrainian counteroffensives. And that's kind of what we see with the Bakhmut area, right? And that did not really go according to plan, right? The Ukrainians were able to just like hammer them and make that a really costly and difficult endeavor for them. But, unfortunately, the Ukrainian counteroffensive that summer also didn't do what people intended and hoped for it to do. But then, looking at 2024, the front line is still very stagnant, but we start to see the Russians just like continue to believe that if they just hammer away at it, it's going to go their way, right? So they are conducting offensive operations all along all these different areas of the front line, making very slow but steady gains, right? And, even with like waning Western aid and delays in Western aid, we could see that people are getting really skeptical. But then, of course, we have the incursion into Kursk, right? The Ukrainians trying to rewrite the narrative and a little light in the darkness to remind everybody of what they're capable of. And of course, the Russians are constantly trying to squash that. And somebody holding Russian land isn't something that has happened, since World War II. The front line is still like a very stagnant line. We think in terms of meters and, singular kilometers, not necessarily in terms of Russians trying to make rapid breakthroughs of the front line and get really, really far and really complicate Ukrainian defenses. Time is a factor for both sides, right? So the Russians are thinking about, stockpiles and about, holding on to territory and about kind of running out the clock on negotiations. And the Ukrainians are thinking about manpower and training and trying to get additional Western support. And so, I think it seems like we're always in this moment of a great change and a great important moment in the war. But I do think that it's truer now than ever, right? That particularly what the West does right now will heavily dictate, the war's end and kind of the situation in the world after that.